Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Skeletons. So let's solve the second problem from the Babbar DSA sheet. The second problem is yet another very simple and very easy problem. So in this problem what we are asked is, we are given an array and we need to return or we need to print the minimum element and the maximum element from the array. So I hope you understood that why this problem is very easy. Okay, so let's solve this problem. This is the input. We are given an array and we need to return the minimum element and maximum element. So you can see that -7 is the minimum element in this particular array. 2, 3, 1, -7 and 1, which is the minimum. -7 is the smallest minimum element, whereas 3 is the maximum element in this array. So we just do this. I mean, we can return it in the form of vector, or we can print the min element and then the max element. So if I ask you to think of the naivest solution for this particular problem, then what comes into your mind? Well, let's look at that solution. So the naivest solution that should come in your mind is by sorting. That is, you sort the array, and when you sort the array, the minimum element is always at 0th index and the maximum element is always at the last index of the array. So suppose you have the array like -2, 3, 7, -5 and let's take 0. So what you do, first you sort the array. When you sort the array will look like this: -5, -2, 0, 3 and 7. Okay, and after sorting, you just print or return whatever. Suppose you want to print, so you do cout. Suppose the name of your array is v, so v0 and v, suppose n is the size of the array or vector, whatever you are using, depend on your language, and end of line. So it will print -5, which is the smallest element, and 7, which is the largest element for this particular input. As you can see, it is a very simple thing. I need not to explain it too much. Whenever you sort something in ascending order, of course, so the minimum element will be at the 0th index and the maximum element will be at the n-1th or the last index if n is the size of the array. Okay, so this is very simple. Let's look at the code of this particular solution. This is the simple code. Here n is the, wait a minute, I think I should change the color. Yeah, so this n is the total number of element that we have in the array, or the array which is given to us. I am taking a vector here. Okay, and this is actually nothing but taking values in the vector. Okay, that's we are taking the input from our input stream, and here what we are we are doing is we are actually sorting the vector or the array, whatever. So I'm using the library method. You can use the traditional way, I mean write the whole logic behind the sort. It's up to you. As long as you know how it works, it's good. Behind the scene it works in big O of n log n. So that's why the time complexity of this particular solution is going to be big O of n log n. And at the end, what we are doing, we are just printing the 0th element at the 0th index and element at the last index. So if our array is like -2, 5, 3, -7 and 9, then first it will get sorted. So -7, -2, 3, 5, 9, and then in output we will get -7, 9. This is the minimum element, this is the maximum element. That's it. Very simple thing. I hope you understood this. Time complexity is big O of n log n. Why? Because we are sorting. Okay, we are sorting here. Let's move ahead to the next solution. Now the solution number 2. Well, in the previous solution we used the sorting. That's why our time complexity was big O of n log n. But we can improve this. How we can improve this? Let's see this. First of all, let me take one example. I'm going to take this one: -2, 3, 7, -5, 0. Okay, so suppose the example is -2, 3, -7, 5 and 0. So this is suppose our array which is given to us. Now what we will do, we will take first of all two variables. Okay, one variable is going to be the min variable and the other variable is going to be the max variable, and both these variables, what we are going to do is we are going to initialize these variables with the first element of the vector or array, first element, that is -2. both min and max with -2. Okay, after that what we are going to do is we will traverse this vector or array. We will traverse this. So first we will start from the 0th index, and for each index we will see that if the current element is lesser than the minimum element or is greater than the maximum element. Okay, and if it is true, we will update these values. Okay, how we are going to do this? Let's see. First of all, we have -2. Is -2 lesser than min? Is -2 lesser than min? No, so we will not update. If is -2 greater than max? No, it is not, so we will move ahead. Now we have 3. Now is 3 lesser than the minimum element that we currently have? No, it is not, so we will not touch the min. Is it greater than the max? Yes, it is greater than the max, so we will update this with, wait a minute, we will update this with 3. Okay, we update this with 3. Okay, now we move ahead to -7. Now is -7 lesser than the min? Yes, it is, so we will update this with -7. We also check, is that element greater than the max? No, it is not greater than the max, so we will move ahead. Now for 5 we will again check, is 5 lesser than min? No, it is not, so we will not do anything with the min. And now we will check for max. Is 5 greater than 3, which is the current value of max? Yes, it is, so we will update this 3 with 5, and then we again move to 0. Now you can see that 0 is neither lesser than -7 nor it is greater than 5. So finally the final values of min and max we have after iterating the whole vector or array is our minimum and maximum element from the array respectively. Okay, so we'll simply print the min and max, which is -7, which is min, and 5 our max. Okay, so let's see the code. Well, this part is very similar to what we saw in the previous solution. I'm doing nothing, just declaring the vector and initializing it. Okay, so here, as I told you, that we will take min and max and initialize it with the first value of the array. After that, in this particular part, we are actually doing the main thing. What we are doing, we are iterating over the vector, and for each element we are checking, is that value greater than max? If it is, we will update the max. Is that value lesser than min? If it is, we will update the min. At the end, we simply see out. We simply, you can see out, you can return if you are using a method, it's all up to you. Well, let me tell you something. Some of the problems in the Babbar DSA sheet are the one which are not on GFG practice section. For those problems, what I am doing is I am writing simple code. I am writing simple code like this. Now whenever I find a problem in which there is a specific problem in the practice section of GFG, then I will simply write the code for the method only. Okay, I will not write the whole code because the driver code is already there, as you know. So that's it. The time complexity is going to be big O of n, and the space complexity in both the solution is big O of 1 because we are not using extra space. So I hope you are okay with this, with these two solutions. We are done with the second problem, and now we will move ahead and solve the other problem also. So goodbye, have a nice day.